seeing him come to this level and continue to put that hard work and dedication in, it's really interesting to see what happens. Now, maybe I could come off a bit wrong saying Xron so quickly. We've obviously got, you know, Shane here. We've got rapha from Team Liquid. He is a god in his own right, and absolutely, he was the king of Quake Live, and he's coming in and it looks like he's finally starting to properly adapt to the game. Now, taking this a step forward, he hasn't got into a top 4 yet at a Quake Champions dual tournament on LAN. This would be big. It is going to be very big, and if you're new to Quake and generally a lot of the players, rapha is just like one of the most kind of special individuals. And I mean, you know, we have these situations across the world where each country has a sort of like their kind of living gem, right? And I think rapha is one of the kind of living kind of one of the crown jewels,
so
as
the national treasure, though.
The national, that's what I was thinking. The national treasure of Quake, and you know, without him, it's hard to imagine how things would have turned out, because just the storylines. I mean, we could go into it, but it would take some time. But just take my word for it, rapha is an absolute beast, and I'm just so elated that he's still here, he's still competing, and that we get to see his gameplay into a new game, because he's one of the most cerebral players, one of the most articulate players as well. If you ever hear him speaking about the game, just very, very incredible how much insight he has. I know, just, you know, it's been mentioned a few times when watching a stream, just the way he analyzes everything on the fly, it's unbelievable. But guys, that music is signaling the start of the match here. We're in the quarterfinals at the DreamHack Quake Champions Invitational. It is Xron versus rapha, and we're gonna get started immediately. Rapha to begin with. Yeah, trying to get that law, burst in the urn. And already a bit of an engagement in center map, just an exchange of damage. rapha looking to pursue. Got to be careful against the LG though, of which he does not have just yet. And that's something that his opponent will be aware of. rapha actually still being able to cut off and zone out his opponents, so still reading the map very well. Did, of course, spot from earlier, the clutch is in the pool too. I wonder if there's something that Xron would have been predicting. Got to be careful though. Xron's trying to get near so that he can land one of those punches, but rapha is going to escape rapidly, and Xron was left on sub 25 points of health or so. That's actually, I love the fact that rapha went for the heavy. Oh, the rockets! God. That is a great way to start things off. And with that frag, now Xron onto the Nyx. How do you think the Nyx Anarchy matchup's going to go here? Well, I think Xron has to find a way to slow this down a little bit. But if he can get some good chip damage, he's going to use the Ghost Walk straight away. Surely not going to be offensively, though. Try to stabilize somehow, but getting those rockets, keeping him out the room for as long as possible. The injection comes out at the perfect moment, but they were both so weak. That shotgun from a distance as it comes rushing through from the teleporter. Jump pad. This is not a good situation to be in for Xron. Oh, I don't even know how he survived that one. Very lucky to get pushed through the window. That was it. That was the only way he was possibly going to be getting out there. He's on 8 points of health. Still 5 seconds until a ghost walks around, and he's going to continue trying to escape. And now he can finally breathe a little bit. He's got the ghost walk. He can try and put together some kind of plan to take down the clutch, where there's 10 seconds left until that shield is up again. Fighting over the LG here. It's not going too well for Xron, because he's still sort of trapped back here behind the statue, but fortunately he did... actually, no, he didn't do an incredible amount of damage. I thought it would be more. He rapha could have pushed in for it. Yeah, rapha's actually being really aggressive at the moment. He's trying to be all over the map. He's going to run into him straight away. 87 damage on that one with only about 5 health left. Ghost Walk popped. This is a great opportunity for rapha just to open up the taps and close on in. So the control game here for rapha is very strong, and looking for the perfect moment, looking to just play the battle of attrition, which he can very well do as he is controlling space. The stack here for Nyx is obviously very difficult, and Xron is going to get caught by 2 excellent rockets. That looks kind of unexpected from Xron's perspective. I don't think he really anticipated rapha to be able to push in with the rockets like that, and off the spawn we see the pressure continuing, and rapha's looking incredibly dominant, just cornering Xron, and there's nowhere to go. You got a wall behind you, and in front of you is this towering metal sort of cyborg. Also some kind of wall at the same time. I'm not sure that Xron really knows what to do versus the clutch. It's not something that you practice against a lot in Europe, and I know that rapha and DreamHack bring great skill with that champion. Xron's going to have to try and put together some strategies on the fly to cope a little better with the aggression that rapha's demonstrating. Yeah, this is a scary prospect. Clutch has been very dangerous. We saw, obviously, amazing work from the clutch on this map from DreamHack. And if Rapha can emulate that in even 50% of how well DreamHack was playing it, it's scary to be up against. And just as you said, oh wow, Xron.
Yeah, he's going to take that one.
Off the spawn!
He's got nothing. He's going to go down once again. The shotgun afterwards. We've not seen much of that at this tournament. But Xron making the spawn frags real. And now it's the clutch.
Where did Rapha's supporting cost go? Oh, man. They are all so very dead. But at the same time, the clutch was really the big deal, the big issue for Xron to deal with.
I don't doubt that he's going to be able to do it again, but Xron, with a pretty good stack for himself, will garner some respect from Rapha. But the punches, UFC style, probably not going to be quite supportive against a big champion. Getting some splash. Rapha finally deciding to pop that shield, which is music to Xron's ears. The armor's there. He's going to go through the teleporter. There's 47 health left, and the Berserk comes out. He gets one punch. Is he going to wait for him to come back through? What on earth is happening in this fight?
Oh.
Rapha eventually gets him with the shotgun. There's no way he could juke it anymore from him.
Yeah, Xron put himself in a very precarious situation there. And again, off the spawn, the clutch seems to just be in the right place at the right time. And the zoning game from Rapha has been incredibly strong with clutch as well. But he needs to replenish his health here. And Xron knows that. He knows he's got the clutch low. This can be very dangerous, but the Mega's up, the shield is up. There's options here for Rapha to recover, but that does allow the space and the heavy to go to Xron so he can make a play. But forcing out the Ghost Walk is going to put Rapha in a position where he can now secure a fight or a good position for the next heavy. And I really feel like Xron is going to have an impossibly difficult task. He's going to need a telefrag or something.
The shield down as well. I mean, is Rapha really that advantage? Because his stack is quite mediocre at the moment. I think it might depend on whoever gets that better initiation. But, you know, Xron's so weak. A rocket going to do a lot to him. Only 101 points to health. This is a chance for Xron to get himself on the board, but he's given away the heavy, not punished really enough. He's trying his best to, but somehow like Rapha's movement with clutch is just dodging everything.
Yeah, this is pretty tense, but some good calls so far from Rapha to keep himself safe. I think we've seen Xron putting himself in more sort of weird situations, whereas Rapha's definitely the control player here, despite losing two of his, again, supporting casts right away. You can see that the clutch is really the strong fallback here that he can rely upon. And down to just the Nyx, it is a big question. Is how can you can't, there's no way to sustain in a straight-up fight. You have to somehow chip away, and the map is so small. I think this is so favorable for Rapha. He just has to play the basics, and I have no idea what Xron is going to be able to do short of something miraculous like a telefrag.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, at the moment, Rapha's been doing an amazing job at just avoiding damage. And you could say it's partly to do with that, but also Xron's not been very good at finding those opportunities to manage the stack. Going to move in, forcing the Ghost Walk out. Shield has not come out. He was looking for the perforation, in fact, as you were saying. And just holding that LG on him. This is actually hard work for Rapha. Eventually, he goes down. Xron somehow combats all that pressure that Rapha was laying on him.
That is so interesting that it seems as though, Rapha was in two minds as to how he wanted to take the engagement. Sort of, pops the shield, Xron falls back, and then Xron's in a great space. Rapha's sort of in the open. He gets a chance at hitting a rocket. Rapha's away from the heavy. He hit a good rocket and just got the follow-up. Rapha didn't anticipate that. That's really good to see here for Xron. Able to get around one apiece, and already Berserk pop. The panic button is going to be hit.
He was trying to land a lot of LG on Anarchy, and I mean, even on land, it's hard to get really those high accuracies going on that champion, despite their health pool. Xron lacking the rockets, which is going to be important to have. He's going to be making a successful play.
And Xron with some positioning, and that will be the Mega as well. Much needed, but he is sort of trapped on the extremity here.
Only one of those nails. He's finally landing a little bit more, but 3 points to health, and Rapha eventually breaks through. Well, that's going to be one more frag for the American. He's going to find him right off the spawn. Rapha forced to use the injection. Is Xron going to attack? I think he was right behind him, but Rapha whipping and weaving around those corners.
Yeah, the Anarchy is going to be an interesting dynamic against the Nyx here. Rapha holding on to a decent stack now. He's got the Mega and obviously all the guns to play with. It's kind of the situation here where he needs to really make sure he can get that inject up before he wants to take a fight, wants to zone his opponent out. But a good rocket that might actually change his mind here. Now, how does he play the situation? Obviously, he has the champion advantage, but it's still very early, so That Nyx has been very problematic for him. If he could just find a way to get rid of it straight away.
He's got to get that shield down. He's got to force the pressure. The one good thing that Xron did before is he delayed the armor by a lot. I wonder if there's something that it won't be impactful as it seems. So this kind of puts him at that stalemate once again, with the only difference being rapha's advantage in the round. Xron with the Ghost Walk intact. He needs to initiate with some kind of rockets, get some kind of distance damage. Anything. He's not been really pressuring rapha anywhere near as much as he's been pressured.
And rapha has the timings of the items as well. We can see him sweeping towards the heavy armor, and there's 3 seconds to get towards that mega. It might be enough, especially if Xron doesn't feel confident. If he takes some damage, there could be potential, but looks like that's not going to be the case, and it's a gentleman's agreement at the split. But rapha's in there, looking to get the damage, and he's got center map control again, just darting around with Anarchy all over the place there. But that's a very solid rocket, 75 damage. That's half the health gone for rapha. He has to back away. But, as I say, that chip damage here, really well played from Xron. Both players pretty low here. rapha, though, he's in a great advantage. He has position, the slight health advantage, and there is, I think, an extra second between that mega and that heavy now, so maybe rapha can get there with Anarchy. Maybe not.
It's just at the entrance. He's looking to do a bit of damage, but not quite able to get the rocket to travel fast enough. And Xron slowly restacking up on the small amount of armor he's able to hold. Misses out on that rocket, and rapha is pretty direct with it. And again, Xron is on the back foot. Time is slowly ticking away, and there's less than 2 minutes for Xron to have to conjure something in this round. And there hasn't really been that many signs of life yet.
It's been quite difficult for either player to find a way in, and no one wants to really give anything up here. Obviously, rapha's playing with advantage, and Nyx has to go aggressive, and it's so difficult against Anarchy. rapha's always keeping his escape options open. He's trying to always give himself multiple options should something go wrong. And you can see just operating from the center of the map gives him all of those options, and it's okay to split items here as he goes for the pursuit towards the heavy, but he doesn't have to commit if he doesn't want to. Can just keep the pressure up, fall back onto the mega, and he's going to go for the commitment towards the fight, trying to force the Ghost Walk, but actually outmaneuvered by Xron. He'll fall back onto the mega, and rapha's actually come off much worse here, I think, in some respects.
Yeah, that dodge that Xron was doing over at the heavy armor was remarkable. rapha could hardly land anything on him. Fortunately for rapha, though, he takes the resources on that side of the map, and it is going to tie up once again. Bit of pressure from LG. Xron not able to land anything further. He needs to hit a good rocket soon, and the clock is ticking away. Xron's going to have to do something soon. And we might need to see a Ghost Walk attack of some sort, a read on how rapha's looking at playing one of the items, as Xron has just taken the heavy and the mega. This could be an error from rapha, but it depends how he's able to combat now. In the next fight, he's going to walk right into him. A rocket over here, but he's going to use the injection. 30 HP, and Xron somehow manages to come out on top.
Wow.
So patient with that fight. It looked as if he had no answer whatsoever.
Yeah, it almost looked like he wasn't affected by the fact that he had 20 seconds left there. Really nice stuff there from Xron. Gets a decent connection off the rocket, but his health is very low, and a clutch is a very strong character. Falling back onto the mega, that may change things for rapha. And now, Xron, he knows he can go for the finish. The LG there, pinning rapha forward with the shotgun. That could have been so close. I think rapha actually missed one of the shots there. That could have been it for Xron, but he's going to be able to take it. That was very close, and I feel as though there was an even amount of errors made by both players. So this I think is going to be a very close series, judging on how this has gone so far.
rapha pushed a little bit too hard with the clutch at the end. I think it was a good move the way he started everything off, because Xron was very, very weak, but he was timing the way that he was plus backing perfectly.
Oh, the nails, so weak.
Let's touch on that later, because at the moment they've already getting pretty down and dirty here in round 4, and Xron has got very little to work with.
Oh, whoa! That is just insane. Through the telly, rapha knew nothing about that. That is the timing there for Xron. Could not have been better. Very fortuitous moment for him, but rapha is back.
That's it, that's the punishing blow right there. That's the trump card.
And I mean, again, Doomguy, great stack, great pressure game. And now rapha's in a huge amount of trouble. There's no escape here for rapha. Has to run out, hits the panic button. Will get out of there, but Xron is going to know that he's incredibly low. Xron should have every ounce of control on the map, and rapha is so done.
Oh my God, brilliant LG to mid-air combination. And Xron read it. He knew exactly what he wanted to do, and he had the correct weapon lined up for the bounce pad use and followed it up flawlessly, looking for another mid-air. This time we've got a shield attack. Xron haven't yet taken much damage at all, and even the mining lasers come out. Is this really what he wanted? One punch, is it going to come in? He's actually losing out this fight now.
Wow, I think he started to really feel himself there and get a bit overconfident. He did do a lot of damage, but again, you can't underestimate clutch, and you also can't underestimate the fact that you're 2 champions up right now, and of course there is a lot of time, but you want to sort of force, if you possibly can, rapha into a bad spot here. Keep that, berserk option open should things get a bit risky.
He's going to go in on this. This shield is coming up in 1 second time, and it's just about arrived. 44 health left, and now rapha, he's on the counter attack. That shield couldn't have come up at a better moment. Still, though, rapha is weak.
And that's the thing there. It's always about the judgment, about when you disengage or if you commit to the fight. Again, he chose to take a fight without the berserk up. Oh, God. Oh, the shotgun is going to finish him off eventually. The boomstick. 3, 2, 1. And Xron will be able to claim Corrupted Keep. That's the first map against rapha. What a start for the underdog against the absolute legends.
That was pretty sick, actually, from Xron. And he just had the starting shotgun, just ran at him and says, I know you can't do much. I'm Nyx, I'm super fast, and I'm just going to chase you down. rapha was trying to get around the corners as quickly as he possibly could, but it just simply nothing to do to remedy the situation.
There's so many small timings, small margins that can just make a massive difference. We saw this frag where, again, the timing was absolutely ridiculous. There's nothing that rapha can do there to capitalize.
That was the one way out for him. That was the one thing that he could have done, because he had nothing. rapha knew he was weak, but the teleporter use and the combo, there's not much you can do to defeat that.
Absolutely, and it's sometimes hard, I think, for players to understand, okay, exactly how much damage they've done and whether it is enough for them to commit or whether they should disengage and then play off the fact that they've done some damage and they can split the map and then they can wait for their cooldowns to be available again. And we saw both rapha and Xron both get burned by that exact same sort of nuance to Quake Champions duel. So I think, yes, we are definitely in for quite the treat here with the rest of the series. I love that Xron is going to be taking the first map and putting rapha's back against the wall, because that's where we see the best work from rapha as well.
So do you think that Xron could maybe even, I mean, it seems weird to make it a reality, to take out down 2 legends in a day?
Yes, definitely. I mean,
that is disgusting.
The thing is, Zoo, you shouldn't be asking me this question because you know.
I know this guy's unreal, but I mean, you still have to question like the mental fortitude of a player like this who can go through it. It is such psychological combat to do anything like this, even if that player is maybe worse on paper. When you add that legendary name, it becomes a completely different match. Absolutely, but it's also going to be interesting just to see how deep they are skill-wise across the entire map pool against one another as we start to see these maps get played out. Because obviously, Corrupted Keep, there are some Corrupted Keep specialists. It's a much different map. Of course, there's no railgun, which is a pretty big deal, especially for some of the players that have a less consistent rail or don't like to play that style. And Xron, he is very versatile, so I would be very surprised if he isn't able to have a great performance on pretty much every map, and similar to rapha, but it really comes down to some of those slower games. I really want to see a slow match. I want to see a battle of decisions. I want to see overextensions punished massively. I got some secret insider information from Xron, actually. It was right at the beginning of the last game. He said, what I've got to do is hit 100% rail and kill all his champions. So, I mean, that's it. That's the knowledge bombs from Xron. If that's your winning condition, that's now it's time to act. He's either a god or, I don't know, he's insane. But perhaps you have to be insane to be in this position and to take the win against rapha, to not feel the pressure, as rapha will be off to a very fast start with the Anarchy, keeping that pressure on. The rocket connecting straight away. 82 damage, that's pretty big. And he's got the advantage. Oh no, Xron is pinned. He just had the gauntlet down for a second and is like, yeah, I mean, you win. That's it, I forfeit. Even with the Nyx at the moment, he's going to use the Ghost Walk. He's just popping all the abilities so early. I don't see how Xron can win this round anymore, just off the first 30 seconds alone. Yeah, it's certainly looking a little bit grim for him. But there is always time. He has the Ghost Walk. He just has to make a couple good guesses to buy himself enough time to sort of juke around the sort of blind spots as rapha moves around the map. But obviously with Anarchy,
he can move around the map so quickly that there are less opportunities for Xron to find some kind of safe haven and breathing space. But he's managed to do so far. It's just a case of getting pickups at the same time. And you can see Rapha's playing a really fast game on the top map. Oh my goodness, it's so close here. And again, the health not good for Xron. If he takes a rail, he's going to find a hard time to be challenging these items. Rapha's all over the place.
That was awesome, LG, actually chasing using the maximum distance that LG has to offer. And continuing to control all the big items on the map. Gonna follow through the bounce pad, should know exactly where he is, but Xron goes through a small detour. The rail, he's not gonna get that one out in the end. Can he find the shot? He can just about make it. Just the anarchy to go for Xron here on the first round.
I am loving Rapha's moving around the map at the moment. Oh, the pop-up. Oh, great air control there. The dodge mid-air, but Rapha picks up the mega mid-fight, and there's the finish, the snap from the boomstick. And that is a very quick, clean, and decisive victory in round 1 of Sarnath there for Rapha.
I think we need to see a little bit more calm and controlled Doomslayer work from Xron. He lost that champion out so early with a strange move using the Berserk. I mean, he should have gone on the attack rather than using it defensively. Maybe that was just, he mistimed the jump with it. But he's not popped Berserk in the first 10 seconds, and he's got control of the heavy, so I can only assume that things are going better for him now.
Yeah, hopefully he has a better read of the play style of Rapha as well. Again, it's one of these elements, you know, the player like Xron is not going to have nearly as much experience against Rapha as some of the other Europeans, and these connections are going to be really important insofar as Xron being able to keep himself asserted on the most important areas of the map. And now he's in the driving seat, and Rapha's the one sort of scrounging on the extremities.
Yeah, Xron actually gives up that heavy. Is that, I don't know if that's a sensible move, or if he's just like, well, I've only got the rail. Maybe
perhaps he just didn't want to potentially get caught out of position.
Yeah. I think if he's going close and deadly, having those rockets, at least then I could maximize the sort of the Doom rocket punch combo. But if he lands a simple rail, then that'll certainly counter any advantage that Rapha may think he has.
And now sort of swapping items. I don't think Xron will be able to get back into the Mega in time. Rapha keeping the pressure up. Oh, this could be bad actually. That Mega is a bit of time away here, and Xron actually taking loads of damage. Corner. He is cornered at the moment, able to pick up a bit of armor, but it's not going to sustain him too much. You can see, oh, Rapha's made the smart decision. He's playing the long haul. He's going to allow Xron some breathing room, but he's going to be able to get all the items, presumably.
I think if Xron didn't hit that rail, Rapha probably would have stuck around and said, you know what, I can keep that control later. He manages to get the armor, hits a couple of nail gun shots, but not much comes afterwards. And Xron settles back a little bit. His health and armor still not very crispy.
I love the choice of nails as well in those spots, just due to the fact that if you get a couple good connections with it, it really messes with Anaki's movement. That's so strong, isn't it, from Xron? And he is looking pretty clutch at the moment. And again, the pressure is really on. He's deep in the tournament. Rapha goes for the dive, gets absolutely crushed by Xron. The Berserk being popped, and that is the entire map as a reward for Xron.
Wow, absolutely insane. Rapha felt that he was perfectly justified in his aggression going towards Mega Health. He's going to be using his Berserk now, trying to go for the punch. 68 health left, and that is actually a really smart rocket jump to get away. Is the chase still there? The rail lands. He picks it up immediately and fires a fantastic little 90-degree flick.
I mean, I spoke about Xron being clutch, but Rapha is the king of clutch.
That was necessary, highly necessary in this. Keep him in good head state in this map.
Yeah, imagine if Doom gets away. Imagine if Doom gets away, he resets his Berserk. That is, you just, let's not even think about that. You can't even let that situation happen if you're Rapha. And he knew that as well. I mean, he was really committing hard for that. That said, the damage being exchanged. Does Xron want this engagement? Looks like he's just keeping the pressure up. The items are very soon. Neither player really interested in taking a fight, a committed one, right before the big items spawn. And Rapha might be in a position to take both items here. He's going to be going for the drop. And he's out-positioned. Xron is in a lot of trouble right now. Yeah, but he does have the lead at the very least in Champions.
Yeah, that rocket went to the bottom of the bounce pad, and it's like, maybe I'm not going to hang around. But with a minute and a half of time to get rid of, he's still got 10 seconds until that ghost walks up. There's 2-time shots, but he doesn't want to stick himself on that little corner of the map, so just sneaks away, and every second is better and better music to his ears. I think that's a phrase. And
I can dig it.
Good, I'm glad.
I'm digging it. And rapha is about to get himself another big item. Nice connection on the rail. And rapha has to think about trying to close this frag down. He's got to get active right now because there's a minute remaining. He's a champion down. The Doom guy has to come through for the American here as he finds Xron in the corner, scrounging for health. And he's going to find nothing but...
I mean, quite literally, there was pretty much nothing there for him. He put himself in such a dangerous position. It absolutely wasn't worth it. Though it's Xron with the Anarchy. He's on sub 30 points of health. He will eventually use the injection, but he's going to be found. rapha is going to launch himself at him and seek another frag. Just one more round to send it to a tiebreaker.
Yeah, we could see sort of a labored exhalation there from rapha, just sort of keeping his focus under control, keeping the pressure under control. Again, one of the most experienced competitors that we have in the Quake history.
That was a big mistake there from Xron, I think. That frag we just saw over at the lightning gun room. I mean, he was talking about how he could just slow the game down. The time, he's just far from able to do that.
I like how rapha, of all people, is just speeding everything up. That to me is just awesome and shows how versatile he is. And we can see that Xron that's the kind of pace that he needs to be playing against Xron, to keep Xron under check, to keep his options limited due to the fact that Xron is getting pressure all the time.
It's not always what you see from rapha as well. He's often far more calm and calculated and soft-footed going around the map, but right now he's really giving a high tempo to the game and maybe catching Xron off guard a bit.
Oh my goodness.
Unreal from Xron. Unfortunately can't connect with that last one. I think a hint to splash came out.
Wow.
Oh my god, that rail hit. He tried to get the berserk as well. Xron's going to be able to escape.
Yeah, this is not a good look here for Xron. I mean, rapha, obviously, he's on the Anarchy. He's not super healthy either, but Xron on the low ground, able to steal away the heavy. And due to the fact that rapha was a bit weak also, they're going to split items, or at least that's going to be the outcome. Gentlemen's agreements. And things slow down a little bit here as both players get healthy again.
I think Xron actually definitely preferring the slower game. rapha is hitting some sick rails though.
Yeah, these fast characters are really working out for him, and I'm loving the fluidity.
We've got armor up right now. Xron checking the coast is clear. And indeed it is. Now to find some kind of damage on rapha, preferably unreturned, but that never seems to be the case. The pressure is always the opposite way around.
And this is really awesome because pacing is really important. rapha set in the first couple of rounds a very, very high pace, and now he's slowed the pace down entirely. So this is going to really mess with Xron's ability to predict his movements around the map, which is pretty critical. You have to constantly be unpredictable, and I think this is pretty awesome to see. Oh, that would have been pretty huge. Xron does not know quite how lucky he is.
He's set himself up for such a great shot. We've got the LG coming through. The Mega will be taken. Xron sacrificed so much to get that item, and the lightning gun comes out. A perfectly executed fight from rapha.
That was so clean. That was solid mechanics there from rapha. That could not have been cleaner, and he's going to be rewarded here, running into the Anarchy, up the jump pad. rapha, can he get the finish here? Xron inject as well. Both Anarchy's such low health pools, it's so hard to predict, but Xron will get it with the rocket. rapha couldn't quite find any comfort there.
Yeah, forced to use the injection, and slowly Xron was able to make that fight go a bit more in his way, just looking to get that right rocket angle and dodge anything that rapha was sending his way.
Oh, the nails. Oh, they all whiffed. That's unfortunate. I love a good long-range nail span.
I know that Xron loves the weapon as well. He absolutely adores how it operates on land.
It is
and so it definitely gets good usage out of it.
It's the most satisfying weapon for me to use sometimes. It's just like when you get to connect like a good 5 or 6 in a row, it just feels so satisfying. Oh my goodness gracious me. That was a little bit surprising. And well, that's going to even things up. I don't think either player really was anticipating that, but it's rapha with the slash, with the quick pickup of the Mega, and he gets the heavy as well. This is problems, forcing out the Ghost Walk as well. What does Xron do? He has to buy time. Now, that is the only thing he can really do.
Yeah, I mean, of course, rapha doesn't have his ability up, but it's not got quite the same degree of importance that the Ghost Walk has. And he's getting caught out at the moment. He's got to somehow dodge whatever rapha's throwing at him. There's a solid rail. And he's got to or leave wherever the hell Rapha's planning on going.
This is not good timing for Xron right now. All the big items are coming up, and he has no business challenging either of them. He can assume that Rapha's on them, and Rapha can assume that Xron is on the extremities of the map as well, trying to avoid what he could think are the most logical paths around the map for Rapha, given the circumstances. And Rapha gets the sound cues now, and Xron has been unable to stack up almost at all. He's still very weak. This should surely be it. Forces the Ghost Walk out, though. And now, Xron, what does he have left? He's not got a single thing to speak of. It's Rapha with a very convincing Ruins of Sarnath, and I really, again, love his use of pacing.
That was absolutely dominant on that map. We saw Xron really waking up a little bit in the third round. We could see how he was trying to use the Ghost Walk to avoid Rapha somehow. He chose to go the route exactly where the Plasma Trail was, and then he went to the top. He's like, oh my god, as soon as my Ghost Walk runs out, I'm going to walk into this Plasma Trail. And so from there, Rapha could operate very easily. But we saw Xron go from very comfortable on Corrupted Keep to go very uncomfortable here on Ruins.
And that entire fight just there was just beautiful from Rapha. And it's one of those things where, again, with Rapha, because his cerebral game is so incredibly strong and is so adaptable, and he's such a master of all the most complex things about all of that, and the meta, all of that, people don't think about his mechanics because, they are great, but it's not a toxic level. It's not the peak of a Cypher, for example. But he has very good mechanics. He's got,
it's not the same flair that you get with other players, but it's just there. You see the strategic side, and then you hear him talk about his game, and you think about him in a completely different way.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, that was majestic the way that he was in those fights then. And Xron's also, he's amazing at the combat skills. He's very high there, and I would consider that something that stands out a lot more from him. But he's been made to look quite mediocre from the fights that Rapha's creating.
Yeah, this is actually really beautiful when if you contrast Xron against Rapha to Xron against a lot of other players, you would see that again, just as you mentioned, he's playing with less options, so he looks more uncomfortable. He's made to look like a worse player because he's lacking options and less opportunities to go aggressive against Rapha. So I'm loving the dynamic between these two players because, with that said, he's still performing really well. But that was just obviously a very strong map for Rapha in this matchup. And now moving into Blood Run, how do you feel, Zoo? Do you think that Xron is going to be able to fare better here?
I think a little bit, yes. But we still have a slash to go against. And I know that Xron was saying that his slash, he recognizes Rapha's slash as really, really strong. He finds that is sometimes something that he struggles to deal with. So I think if that's something he can overcome, then he could look very good. But Blood Run is definitely no issue for him ordinarily.
Well, it is the quiet before the storm as both players mentally prepare themselves for what is to come.
As ZSX, I think, was leading towards as one of the only people who needs a haircut more than Rapha at the moment.
Well, if Rapha crushes Xron here, I vote that he... I don't think it matters. He's still the coolest guy to me, regardless. Most stylistic, super cool nerd in my books.
No, he's a beast. He's a beast, and he always will be. And he's going to be a name that keeps popping up at these LAN events. He's going to be there all the time. No matter what's going to be going on, you can expect him to be around. But of course, the same for Rapha. One of these players is going to be going through to the semi-finals tomorrow. And we are going on here to the tie-breaker map. It's going to be Blood Run between Xron and Rapha.
This is such a beautiful map for both to play. I could speak for so long as to why it's very fitting, but there's no time for that because the rockets are flying, the buckshots are flying. It is Rapha already taking some damage here and being put slightly on the back foot with that Doom. And I love that he slows it down, tries to get the sound cues. Which way is my opponent going? I can't risk getting into a bad position here because my opponent is in a spot where he wants to actually close down the fight.
I think, unlike the previous maps, we are going to see a lot of change of pace in general. We've seen a lot of very fast games on Ruins, on Corrupted, and this is going to be something different, especially when the stakes are completely increased now that we're the final stages of the duel.
Yeah, and Rapha, he's stabilized after that start, and those starts are so important, and we can see that on Ruins of Sarnath. Rapha leading with the Anarchy allowed him to control the pace straight away. Right now, Xron is the player that, with that initial engagement, having sort of the victory there, is able to actually control the pace. And so far as Rapha's on the back foot, he's got to slow it down. I mean, he has no choice but to do that. And now it is just the battle over these two big items. A trap set for both players. Xron wondering exactly where rapha is. Now it's pretty obvious. Good damage. Can Xron get out of this position without taking too much more? Looks like he'll be okay.
He hangs around for such a long time, and eventually that LG damage just grows and grows and grows, and he's left with far less than any of the overstack he had before. And we could see Xron was also mimicking that same slow start just by walking around the map almost all the time before that heavy was taken.
And this is a good position now for rapha. Xron obviously losing that early round advantage. rapha in control of all the big items now, dropping in for the Mega. This could be really bad. Oh, great pop there, but the follow-up isn't there just yet. rapha moving some rails, and still, Xron sticking out there. rapha can't really challenge for the Mega. He doesn't want to risk losing the first frag, and that's the intelligent play. Xron with some great mechanics there to save him and bring him back into this one.
And that's rapha giving a very good amount of respect by doing that. He recognizes Xron's highly capable of that rail, and there's absolutely no point throwing anything away, no matter if it's the first round or the last. And that'll be also the heavy armor for rapha. So we see the control is changing between these players, like almost by rotation, but no frags are happening just yet. They're not sacrificing everything in order to keep control.
And I love it from these two players. Obviously, that display of patience and discipline is so key. It's very easy to get frustrated with the situation and maybe to overextend instead of just saying, okay, it is what it is. I just have to wait right now. That is the best play. Chill out, delay, reset the situation, find another opportunity. Just don't lose that first frag. And I can do that for days.
Oh, he just about makes on. He uses the Berserk actually to go for the items. Xron's going to come back up and take 75. Another 75. It's going to be a triple punch, and rapha takes the first frag on Blood Run. That went from something that looked super unlikely to then Xron comes back up.
I don't think he intended that. There's surely no way that he intended to come back up. I don't think he wanted to do that. And now rapha is going to take a rail. That's the second one. Xron actually just using the raw aim right now to fight back, to find something back in this one. And rapha's in a horrible position. He's not got Berserk. Xron, though, through the telly. Oh, rapha faking the jumps there. Perhaps Xron felt as though...
I think he
actually sold it, I think.
I think rapha was terrified that there was a Ghost Walk attack coming to him imminently. So he kept jumping up and making sure that he's not getting perforated, and they can maybe fire a rocket onto him. He lands a rail. Can he get himself one more? rapha extremely weak. He's going to use the Berserk to get out of there as soon as humanly possible.
Very tense stuff between these two players. Of course, still the first round and only one champion down after almost 4 minutes. Xron on the back foot. rapha, again, he doesn't want to take aggressive options. There's a minute left. He can now play defense. 30 seconds until the Berserk. He's going to need that.
Xron, I think, used an aggressive Ghost Walk to try and accomplish something. You can see his cooldown has appeared by his character portrait. And he's only going to have a chance to use Ghost Walk once more this round.
Oh my god.
What are these rockets from Xron? He's going to look to try and finish it with a rail. That would have been it. But the health collected by rapha, and he's going to nail the rocket at the end.
Oh man, I cannot believe he went aggressive there. I actually cannot believe it. I was like, okay, he's pushing in, that's smart. You have the ability to zone him out, actually, to pick up the heavy and let him escape. But rapha's going in right now, and he's not going to stop anytime soon. Xron with a suicide, and rapha, that, again, flipped constantly, and Xron was bailed out consistently by his rails, but eventually rapha seemed just to have his number with the rockets.
This one here, that rail there, that rail that Xron missed, that would have got him the tying up frag. And the one piece of insight, we can call it insight if you like, is I've got to hit my rails. And that's not it there. That was the most important one.
Well, one round for rapha. We get Doom Guy versus Doom Guy here to open things up. And rapha trying to play cautiously here. Xron with some pressure. He's got some good damage. He's pushed rapha onto the back foot. And you want to get a nice chunk of damage, get the chip in here to set yourself up for the items. But that combo, I don't think Xron expected rapha to be able to do so much damage from that position. And now rapha, again, it just flips just like that, unexpectedly. And then now rapha has everything again.
Xron thought he was completely leading the situation. He was going to try and push rapha around whichever way he wanted, but not to be the case. And rapha did give away the heavy armor, though. I would have thought maybe he could have more confidence going into that earlier on. But getting the damage afterwards, making sure that at least nullifies any of the benefits, that's not too bad.
And the thing as well against like Xron, rapha knows that there are some more advanced elements that he can play with as far as his gameplay goes, because Xron is going to be reading some of his timings, his paces, the routes that he likes to attack from. the kind of style that he's bringing to the table. So I love that Rapha, you know, we've got the first round played out. Whoa. He's going to start switching things up. However, those rails paying off here for Xron, continuing to do damage right now. Rapha is in somewhat of a precarious position.
Yeah, this is pretty bad news for him. The only saving grace is that Xron's stack isn't absolutely full at the moment. But leading up towards the next set of major items, it is most likely Xron of commanding control. There's going to be the Mega. A step away from that. Now set up for heavy. Watch out for the raining fire from Rapha. And landing that rail means he's going to push and he's going to try and find his opportunity, looking maybe for a flick, but that angle does not exist for long enough. Here comes the rockets. Is there a chance to berserk at all? But he cannot find the angle. Just Rapha is not making it clean enough.
And now, this is when it really counts, connecting those rails, and there is one. Airborne is Rapha, but not for too long. Smacked back down into the floor by the rail of Xron as he... Oh, he misses the jump. That is very unfortunate. He'll be able to pick up the Mega, but the point was to leave it up, to keep the pressure on, potentially get a frag. That would have been an option.
The thing is, as soon as Rapha went up to the nail gun room, or went through the teleporter room, and someone said, oh, he's going to get to the nail gun room, and he's going to have heaps of resources there, and it's going to really put a halt to all the hard work that I've just done.
Yeah, that one missed jump is so huge, isn't it? At the very least, he's going to get more opportunities. At the very least, it is still an even situation for both players. So there's not a huge amount of pressure for action. They can try to reset a little bit. Some nails coming out from Rapha, trying to spam that Mega Buddy. He's very susceptible to just getting straight out railed there. So surprised that he stayed out for so long. And Xron not in a great position to keep the fight going, and he's going to swing back for the Mega.
Yeah, I mean, he completely let go of the Mega for a moment, but assuming that Rapha's going to give him some respect, and assuming he's still there, tries to find another attack, but it's not working. So many rails are missing for Xron at the moment. This is truly painful for him to see.
And things have really slowed down here between these two teams. And that's one of the options you do get on Blood Run. You can play it incredibly slow. And that's really interesting too from the perspective of how your opponent responds to that slow play. Because some people, again, who have slightly less patience, they may start to overextend. You may be able to exploit some mistakes. So it is always worth it to see those responses. All that could have been big. Xron, though, does whiff entirely. And Rapha is looking for the engagement. He knows he has a massive advantage on the stack.
Wondering how Xron's actually going to carve his way back into this game. Rapha's had everything now for the last minute. We've got Mega to come back, and Rapha needs to keep up that control. Looking to step in closer. Xron right next to the bounce pad and is going to seek to escape. And still Rapha, he's the Lord Commander right now. And Xron dropping down to rail. Is there anything that Rapha's going to try and initiate at the moment while he's got that superior stack? And with a rail like that, maybe it's going to be flipped on his head once again, Dan.
Absolutely. Rapha needed to hit the first rail, and he was really looking for that for quite some time, just so that once you have the bigger stack, you hit the rail, then that means you can go in. However, he whiffed the rail, and then he was hit by the rail, evening the stacks here. Able to get some great chip damage, as he has the great timing on the Mega as well, and so continued opportunities for him, but at the same time, he may not feel confident to go in for the kill. It's, again, rather just go into sudden death, keep it safe, make it a sure thing.
There we go. Pops one, nice rail out.
This is really helping Xron massive. This is a kind of a disparity. The consistency of Xron's railing is really the difference maker here for him.
What do you mean, the lack of the rails that he's...
The rails that he is connecting, because Rapha's missing more right now, and that's keeping Xron in this, despite the fact that he has not a good stack, and that could be a problem. The lock-ons, can he find it? No. Berserk after berserk. 2 ball rushes there, all the way straight through onto the bridge. This is too wild. It's like a bull run. Basically, that's what that was. A bull run. And
Xron's going to be pretty happy about that, though, because he was on the ragged edge just then, and he manages to even turn it around and pick up the Mega on his way out. So he was on death's door for a second. Now the players can maybe go back to trying to get those rail angles to hopefully work a bit better than they have been. Mega's going to be the next big item up. Rapha got a bit of a clue.
Oh, the timing is really good, isn't it? That's a pretty decent first couple rockets from Rapha, doing some nice damage, although the follow-up's not great. So just use those rockets to zone out his opponent, pick up these items once again, and now Rapha can try to find a way in once more. The Berserk is up for him, and also for Xron now. So Rapha needs to force that away and try to keep his if he possibly can. But that's going to take him to connect shots that he has been missing so far.
Oh, Xron under pressure for a second. Rapha decides to push forward through the hallway before going over to the heavy armor, just to make sure he is backing the hell off. And we're going to get another push in from Rapha. Xron not quite going to expect it. Only lands a very tiny amount of damage.
Another miss from Rapha as well. These are not rails that Rapha can afford to miss. And if he had hit it, he may not have committed into the fight, but he would have been able to then swing back for the items and then commit to the fight, because there wouldn't have been enough time for Xron to really get himself in a good position, and his movement would be very predictable. But that one missed rail means that Rapha has to slow down. That means Xron gets more opportunity.
Xron's not going to try and jump, is he? He surely knows that Rapha's around, and they just spot each other before Rapha goes towards the heavy himself. Going to find him now. He's going to get a rocket from that, but again, the damage is minimal, and Rapha has just backed off once again.
I saw net damage, I was like, oh, that's big. Oh, it's 15 damage.
Certainly thought it was a direct for a moment, but they're going to meet head-to-head here at the Mega Health. We're going to get a combo done by Xron, and he is going to land the punch to follow up. Rapha wasn't able to get better initial damage, and the lead up, the speed, the reactions from Xron, just keeping him in the lead there. I believe that ties up the rounds.
Yeah, it absolutely does, and it really comes down to the fact that Rapha needs to connect his rails when he's pushing in for the pressure, because that is consistently the difference maker here for Xron, honestly.
Oh, already going in with that LG fight. Sees that Rapha gets the heavy himself, and that suddenly turns the stacks around and means that Rapha's more powerful. So,
okay, there we go. There's a connection from Rapha. Putting some rockets onto the light. Oh, he might just commit here. All right. Oh, that is quite interesting, isn't it? Xron actually just popping the berserk there.
Very sensible. He needed to get away as soon as possible. If Rapha just went through the teleporter and was just holding on to attack, there's a chance that he could have gone down. So both players have a while until their cooldown is up.
Well, the thing is that how will Rapha read this situation? That is the question.
This could be a very good chance, because what Xron's been very good at is those combo punches with weapons. And if you can get a kill very soon, and Xron, I don't think he's going to be at least ready for the fight, as ready as he normally is.
Right, well, things again slow here as Xron is playing the back foot, waiting for the opportunity, and the back foot has worked out very well for him. When Rapha's been pushing in, Xron has been able to out-aim him in some of these spots. And so the defensive game working out, honestly, for Xron. And there it is, a rocket, not massive damage, but that will stop Rapha. Rapha did actually do some good damage, and that's a rail. There it is.
I think Xron was actually fearing the rocket jump from him. He just couldn't get out of the hallway fast enough. That was an awesome shot from Rapha. He's going to look at perpetuating his lead a little in his round, but he is pretty weak. He's railable himself. And you can see that Xron searching for some kind of angle, but that was the perfect defensive rocket. Rapha might have just bought himself some space.
Oh my God.
I can't believe
does he get 70 damage there and now a mega? That is unbelievable. And now Xron's going in for the challenge, but he's in trouble. Not much damage from Rapha so far, but he eventually connects, and Xron is in such trouble at the moment.
He's got the Anarchy. He's going to look to bring some speed to it, but Rapha's hitting a remarkable amount of LG damage. He's going to find him once again. Xron just wandering on by. Well, it looked like the gauntlet was out for just a second.
This is really close right now. Xron is evading so many very close situations. Rapha unable to get any kills there. And he's going to go onto the heavy and back away. He does have the champion advantage, and there is plenty of time here, so it's not necessarily a massive deal just yet. Can Xron get this Anarchy to work? Challenging for quite some time in the open. Very brave there. Yeah. But perhaps not respecting Rapha's ability to connect some of these shots?
No, exactly. Rapha still had one rail left, actually, and he opted not to go for it. The one thing it's very important for Rapha not to do, and it's unlike him to do anything like that, if he's got good control of this pressure that he's on already, he needs to get out of here. Xron's had a great challenge just then. He's going to find him in the air. He's going for the punch as well, and that is going to be Xron going down. One more round needed for Rapha to get his semi-final place. And if he does go through, then that would guarantee a North America versus EU grand final.
And that's always great.
Wants, and Jahar.
I mean, it's just always great to see that, to be honest. But generally speaking, no matter what we actually have, as far as the finalists is concerned, it's going to be pretty phenomenal with just all the players that are left. I mean, you can't go wrong, to be honest. So we will have a quick pause here. perhaps there is a technical issue being experienced. I think Rapha, we did see him kind of just briefly pulling off his headset just for a moment after the round was completed, so perhaps he's experiencing some problems.
So while we're left on 2-1 here on Blood Run, they couldn't really have left us in a more tense moment as were on the final map. And it will give Xron a bit of a breather as well to maybe reset himself somewhat. I see that, hopefully everything good.
This kind of reminds me just a tiny bit, not too much, but it reminds me of watching the confidence that Noctis had against Toxic earlier today on the first map, hitting everything. We saw Rapha on Ruins, absolutely dominating, connecting very well, looking very comfortable in his aim and so on and his movement, and then Noctis and Toxic moved to Blood Run, and then all of a sudden, Noctis was struggling to hit. And Blood Run is a very different map with a lot of the way the shots are, because just of the geometry of the map and the way that the players move around it, it is actually quite difficult to connect some of the shots in comparison to the more open maps. So it seems like Rapha has been experiencing some of those difficulties, and it's something that Xron seems to be sort of fine with. So even though Rapha's able to get that round, Xron, I mean, I really can see a comeback coming in from him now.
Oh, really? It's not over in your eyes?
Absolutely not, no.
I think experience could hold out for Rapha, but then when you compare, say, Xron to another player where they need that confidence to really pop off, I don't really see Xron as someone who has to pop off. I almost feel like the more calm and calculated he is, the better, more well-adjusted his decisions are going to be. When he goes aggressive, he goes way too aggressive, kind of Razian claws times 12.
As a quick update, I believe that the issue has been fixed and the game will be remade, so we should be underway shortly with a continuation of this one. And we're going to have to remember that it was a 2-1 situation in favor of Rapha.
So Rapha will only need the 1 round to take the series, whereas Xron will need 2 rounds to take the series. That's useful maths for myself. Thank you.
I love the music. It's tension. If I had to name this track, it would just be Tension. Tension. But it's very Quake. It's very Quake sound. The kind of the bass. Yeah, I actually adore the Quake sounds so much.
Oh, they're great.
It's just like the art and just the sound of Quake is just beautiful.
No, it's gorgeous. Adds to the style, and I love the chains that we've got in the background. You see them right at the back?
Indeed.
It took me a while to notice them at the beginning, but I think they're an awesome touch.
But who's going to be on those chains at the end of this one is the question.
I hope no one, Dan.
It's, well, I don't think
illegal.
Yeah. Well, I can't have any fun.
No.
You're no fun.
Me? No fun?
Why do you hate fun, Sue?
Yeah.
What do you have against fun?
Fun beats me.
Well, it's. I don't think there's any room, perhaps, for fun on the stage at the moment because it is all business.
It is far too business right now.
It's all business, and I love the fact as well that as you mentioned, Xron, very new to these kinds of scenarios against one of the most tenured players that we have in Quake history, and he's really dealing with the pressure very well. We're not really seeing any choking. To be honest, both Xron and Rapha have made some errors in their decisions, but that's going to happen. It's a fast-paced game. You have to think about a lot of very small timings, and it's, to be honest, perhaps a bit inhuman to be able to actually calculate all these small timings in such quick battles and always make the right call.
I wish I could tell what Xron was actually thinking. I just trying to get some kind of read on him in terms of the emotion that he's displaying, but it's nothing. I can't get anything.
He's thinking about kebab pizza. That's what he's thinking about.
Is that what you're thinking about?
That's what I'm thinking about as well. Xron is a man of taste, dude. He's a smart man. He knows what he wants.
Yeah, I hope damn well that he's going to want to win this one hard, because I know he is gunning for the Sacrifice title as well, which he's going to be contending over tomorrow. He managed to get directly into the semis. Taken down Stacked earlier, but it looks like we're back in, guys. Looks like we are into the map. It is currently 2-1 to Rapha here on this tie-breaking game, and immediately we're going to get a little combat from the beginning. Xron going to have to back off after being significantly weaker compared to Rapha.
Oh, that angle. Rapha just very, very ever so quick to that one. Sort of pre-firing it. A little bit unlucky on it, but he's looking pretty confident here. He gets a good start, he gets all the items. You can see that Xron's sort of afraid to challenge. Oh, that's an important connection from Rapha. The trade is there, but again, Doom versus Doom. Rapha's going to be outstacking Xron. Xron has to play the defensive game. This is going to come down to Rapha being able to actually connect the shots when he goes aggressive, and Xron having good positioning. But he could get caught here. The rockets are ready. Xron is got a berserk there to deal with, but Rapha will use it defensively, and that's smart. He has control. You do not have to push the issue.
I was tense right there. That could have been frag immediately. And not necessarily in Rapha's way, despite being more stacked. That was whoever was going to react the fastest. That's Ron. Wow, what a combo!
What on earth was that? Out of nowhere, the combo. And suddenly, Xron has just flipped the tables. Rapha had no idea.
So you blink and you miss that one. That was unreal. Rapha was in sort of dominating control for the first minute of the game, and all of a sudden, Xron hits everything. He's going to enjoy having done that, but I don't know if he's going to be able to continue from it, because all of a sudden Rapha's just fought back brilliantly and has dealt a lot of damage.
Yeah, wants to get back on the back foot, but Rapha has not really proven to us that he's too consistent at dealing with a very, very defensive Xron, operating around the nail gun area. It's often been quite the struggle, not just for Rapha, but for many players in the tournament so far, dealing with this defensive position. But Slash is a great answer to slide around those corners with the plasma trail. He can definitely get in if he just maintains control of the map, gets a bit of pressure damage onto Xron, keeps him on that back foot. Rapha can close down the frag and equalize.
Xron should get his ears on that mega soon. Looking to land one of those rails, but he's not going to hit anything there. Got to be careful. He's got no rails left. They're no longer there, mate. It's a bit of splash. He's going to get out of the room. Armor's up. He's going to try and go for it. In fact, that's a useful amount of stack increase.
It's a nice rail from Rapha, though somewhat negated by the health pickups here. Xron back onto the high grounds, looking to see if he can catch Rapha here, looking for those sound cues. Good trap here with the rocket as well, staying center map. If you don't know what's going on, it's a good place to be, but has to drop for the mega, gets the spot, gets the timing, gets some damage and some. But Rapha will escape, and he's not going to be thinking about pressure here. Xron might be able to get a kill if he gets a sneaky rail. Oh, the miss is in. Another miss. Can he get the connection? Oh, this is so awful here for Xron. Does he get another opportunity? Rapha keeps facing him.
He's got no more rails left. No, he's zooming in, but he's going to get nothing from it. And he's got no rockets either. He's going to have to get the hell out of there.
Oh man, Xron is going to... That is a bit of choke. I mean, that is the pressure. That is all pressure on Xron, causing him to miss some shots there. There is a lot at stake here. He
needs to really hold on to his health and armor very hard, and Rapha is putting an immense amount of pressure. There's only 90 seconds to go, but Xron has shown he finds it quite difficult to slow the game down. The speed that comes in, the air rockets as well, and he's going to get the kill. Only 5 health remaining for Rapha. Is there going to be any signs of immediate pressure?
This is so scary for Rapha right now. He needs a recovery. He's happy to give away the map, as long as he can just get healthy again at any cost. And it looks like that window, that timing of that pressure that was there for Xron to potentially capitalize is gone. Rapha is back in, but taking some damage. The ghost will pop. Can Rapha evade? He's able to get out of there.
That was brilliant. He created that plasma trail just as a wall, and he could immediately go back down, reading exactly the way that Xron was going to chase through that ghost walk. Rapha is still critically low. Xron can find some damage at the moment. He should be able to chase down this next kill. There's a rail. Anything else? Oh, he's going to make it through the teleporter just in time.
And there it is, committing to that armor. That could be the end of Rapha. Shotgun is out. This is surely
he misses.
Oh my God.
No.
How did he miss that last one? The rail comes in, but more misses from Xron. This is not the moment for this to be happening. Rapha might get away. Another connection. Oh, the defensive rail from Rapha is going to keep him alive.
That is ridiculous. He was so close to getting the kill. He's going to have to use the Ghost Walk. The armor's going to pop up. Can he land a shot? It's not going to get him a kill. Even if it does, mega up. He's going to have to get out of there. Such an important rail to slow Rapha in his chase.
Oh, he's hitting like the bare minimum rails he has to hit to just not die. But he's not able to capitalize in some of these spots here. It really seems like the pressure's getting to Xron, but can he somehow find a recovery? We know that Rapha is very steady in these situations, so you feel like Rapha will only get stronger over time. He's so used to the grand final, or rather the stage, and being in the grand finals, he's probably already visualizing it. Obviously, a long way to go still, though, in this series.
Got to remind everyone that this is the match point for Rapha. If he gets this next kill, he is through, whereas Xron needs to win this round, and then the next. We're going to get a fight over at Rockets. Rapha going to escape, going to move up to the mid ground. Got a bit of pressure there coming from Xron, so Rapha has to be careful. But the plasma trail is there, and he's right next to him. He's going to hit a decent amount of damage, and Xron is going to be desperate to survive. Where is he going to go for this? Still rails, and the rail would kill Xron at the moment. He's got to make it through the teleporter, but again, keeps hitting these shots. The splash damage, though, still not enough, and Xron will continue to have a pulse.
Indeed, it is a pulse, but it's looking weak right now. He's starting to fade. Xron goes down, and Rapha has done it. What an absolute nail-biter of a series. Xron, he took it so far, but it is the legend, Rapha, who came away with the victory.
And you could see that sigh of relief afterwards. That was business time right there, and he finally got the job done in such a close and intense series. Very nice match, well fought by Xron.
My God, Zoot, this guy is crazy. Yeah. Xron, when he gets used to dealing with the pressure, he's surely going to be taking titles. Xron has so much potential.
I mean, top 8 at QuakeCon, top 8 here at DreamHack. Absolutely amazing year for